So wages and salaries are payments made to workers, right? So they form part of a person's income, right? So what some people don't know is there's actually a difference between wages and salaries, right? So watch it. Wages are paid on the number of hours worked, right? So wages can actually change every week, right? So can change. Oh, guys, spell change. Can change. What was that? Can change weekly. Your wages can change weekly, but your salary is more fixed, right? Salary is a fixed amount paid at regular intervals. Right? Everybody good here? Difference between wages and salaries, right? So then we have something called deductions to deal with. Deductions. Right? So deductions will be refer to money taken out before a person is paid. Right? Yeah, to the nine, how mine say? Right? So like some common deductions will be something like NIS. That's something that comes out, income tax, right? You have things like union dues, right? You have pension contribution, right? All these things are deductions. So what you have is you have gross pay. So gross pay would be your total pay before deductions. Right? Meaning that as you pay before, any of your taxes come out. I do a question here. And then we have net pay. Wait. Net pay would be your pay after deductions. Right? So we go in. So net pay is equal to gross pay minus deduction. Right? That's your net pay. Then we go and jump into something called overtime. Right, so overtime is extra time worked. Right? So it's basically beyond normal working hours. Right? So something important to note about overtime. Overtime is usually paid at a greater hourly rate. Right? So some overtime rates. I just giving you all two examples, right? I'll give all the three. Some overtime rates. You have time and a half. How this is calculated? This is calculated as 1.5 multiplied by your normal or your original. I'll put the word original. Original hourly rate. We call it basic. Basic hourly rate. Alright? That's how you calculate time and a half. Double time. What do you think double time is, guys? Double time. Half more? Double time is as 2 times? Yeah, it would be. Double time would be 2 times basic hourly rate. Right? And etc. So you all know triple time would be 3 times, that kind of thing, right? So your gross pay, like if you had to calculate your gross pay before you take out the top deductions, your gross pay before deduction would actually be equal to your basic hourly rate times your hours worked, right? Plus your overtime wage. right? But you have to calculate your overtime wage also, right? So most of the time you have to calculate your gross pay before you can even roll into finding your net pay. So write this down and we're going to jump into our first question. Right, so we have some simple ones here first, right? Jenny works a basic week of 40 hours and a basic rate is $6.25 per hour. Calculate a basic wage for the week. So your basic wage would simply be equal to what? What are you multiplying? 40 by 6.25, right? And how much would this work out to be? What's Jenny's basic wage? 250?
Yeah.
Somebody second now.
Yes, sir.
250, right? That's the simplest one. Basic wage, right? Right, we're going again. A man works a basic week of 32 hours and earns $172.48. Find his basic hourly pay. So it's like, so basically it's 32 multiplied by some value, let's call it W, right? Is equal to 172.48. So it's like you have to find W, right? Which is your rate. I'd rather call it R.
So you have to divide that?
Yeah, yeah, I divide. Excellent. So you have to find R, which will be your hourly rate, right? So when you carry 32 here, what are you doing with it, my children? Opposite of multiply is still?
So I guess 0.1.
R will be 172.48 divided by 32. And tell me again there. What's my hourly rate?
5.2. 5.2.
So two decimal places, right? That's my hourly rate. Food. Write it down. So a secretary works a 35-hour week for which she is paid $262.50. She works 6 hours overtime on Saturday, which she is paid time and a half. Then she works 4 hours on Sunday, where she is paid double time. So I need to calculate her gross wage. So her gross wage will be like a basic weekly wage. So I'm going to write it in red here. So your gross wage, write this down, your gross wage is equal to your basic wage plus your overtime, right? So let's first proceed. They gave us, okay, they told us what she is paid for the week, right? She's paid $262.50, but did they give us the hourly rate? So 35 multiplied by some R is equal to what? $262.50, right? So in order to find my hourly rate, what do I do with this 35? Divide. Excellent. So my hourly rate would be equal to $262.50 divided by 35. Right? $7. And so this is my hourly basic, basic hourly rate will be equal to $7.50, right? Point here, okay? Now, that's my basic hourly rate. I need to find out what this person making in overtime. So I'm going to find my 6 hours of overtime, which is paid at time and a half, and I need to find my 4 hours of overtime, which is paid at double time. So let's first, my children, calculate my Saturday rate, which is time and a half, right? So time and a half rate. So and I told you time and a half is 1.5 times the basic hourly rate, which will be $7.50. So give me my time and a half rate, please. So when we work out this, we get $11.25. Now my double time would be equal to 2 times the basic hourly rate, which will give me what? $15. right? So I have my time and a half rate and I have my double time. I should put double time rate. Okay. Double time rate. I put the word rate here. Right? So we go in. So therefore, time and a half wage. Time and a half wage, right? Is equal to how much hours did he work for in time and a half? 35 hours in time and a half? 6. Boom bam. Right? So it'll be 6 multiplied by what was time and a half hourly rate? 11.25. And what does this work out to? This is my time and a half wage, right? And then I have to get my double time wage. So my double
67.5.
oh, this is 67.5. That's $67.50. Double time will be 2. How much hours it was? It was 4. 4 multiplied by 15. But let me just make sure. Eh? Right, 4 was on Sunday. Pay that double time. So, how do I find my gross salary now? So, my gross salary or my gross wage will be equal to what was my basic wage? 262.50. Huh? Sure. Plus 67.50 plus 60. This will be the time and a half wages, right? And the double time wages. So what we get here? Gross wage. So this works out to be $390. This will be my gross wage. Right. So we started this one, right? A company pays its employees a basic wage of $9.50 per hour for a 40-hour week. Calculate the basic wage of one employee. What will be the basic wage here, my children? Basic, I don't want blocking. Hold on. What will be the basic wage? What's he working? What we put in? Basic wage. What will be? Give me the working. What are we working on? 950 times 40. Excellent. So how much money is one employee working for the week? 380. Boom bang. Right? Now they said overtime is paid at a rate of time and a half. So points of note, time and a half means you're multiplying 1.5 by the original hourly rate. We good there? No, by the original hourly rate. Because we have to get the overtime hourly rate. So calculate the right. So it'll be 1.5 multiplied by 950, and you will get right. So they ask you to calculate the overtime wage for an employee who works 6 hours overtime in a certain week. So 6 hours overtime, we must find the overtime hourly rate. So this will be equal to 1.5, as Bruce said in the back there, multiplied by $9.50. So how much are they working for per hour in overtime? 1.5 or 1.5 multiplied by 950. Come on, Olivia, work faster than that now. Right, so when you work it out again, $14.25. This is the overtime hourly rate, but they want the overtime wage. So what do I need to multiply this 14.25 by? We want the overtime wage. So it'll be 14.25 multiplied by how much hours did he work? 6. Right? So how much will this give us? $85 and how much cents? You're sure? 14.25 multiplied by 6 is $85 and so you're sure it's not $85.50, it's 85.5 or 85.05. That's $85.50. You get the same thing? Right. Everybody good there? That's my overtime wage. Right? In a certain week, the company paid its 30 employees a total of $12,084 in basic and overtime wages. Calculate for that week the total paid in overtime wages, right? So this here includes basic and overtime wages. So you know what we could find here? We could actually find the overtime wages. Because then we know, let me put when. When basic wages is equal to how much the basic wage was? 9 something. How much it was? The first 380, right? 380 multiplied by how much employees? 30. Give me what the basic wage for the 30 employees would be. So this is for 30 employees. 11,400 flat, right? So this now we need to minus it from that 12,084 and we will get our basic and overtime wage, right? So we are going to find the overtime wage for 30 employees. So that will be equal to 12,084 minus 11,400, right? Which will give me how much? How much is the overtime? No. How much? 684. So this is the overtime, the total overtime wage for 30 employees. But it asks us, okay, that's what it asks us. The total paid in overtime wages, right? This is the total paid in overtime wages. Let us see what part D asks. They want the total amount of hours worked by employees, right? So the total hours, this is how simple. So the total hours would be equal to 684 divided by how much is an employee working for per hour in overtime? How much is an employee working for per hour? Yeah, the overtime hourly rate. 14.25. So dividing this by 14.25. How much hours are we talking about here? 48 flat? 48 flat. Everybody good there? So we're working it together, right? A typist is paid a basic wage of $22.50 per hour for a 40-hour week. Calculate, what's this? The hell, everything come down there so well. Right. Calculate the typist's basic wage. What will be his basic wage, my children? Boom. Basic wage would be equal to $22.50 multiplied by 40. $22.50 is his basic hourly rate, right? And what does it work out to? How much is he making for the 40 hours? 900 flat? Right. That's his basic wage, right? Overtime was paid at time and a half, right, times the basic hourly rate. Calculate his overtime wage for 1 hour. So they're basically asking for your overtime hourly rate. So what is it? What are we looking for? Time and a half multiplied by how much is the typist working for per hour in basic hours? What's his basic hourly rate? What was his basic hourly rate up here? 22.50. So you're multiplying this by 22.50. What we get in here? What's this overtime hourly rate? $33 and boom bang. So we move in. To earn some extra money, the typist decided to work overtime. So the wage she would earn for overtime if she worked for a total of 52 hours during a given week. So if she worked for 52 hours, her overtime hours would be equal to 52 minus how much is our basic week? How much hours is she working for in our basic week? You remember? 40. Your memory is good. 40. So how much would be the overtime hours? 12 hours, right? Everybody good there? That is her hours. What they ask us for? What wage would she earn? So 12 hours at how much per hour? How much is the overtime rate? The overtime hourly rate. So her overtime wage would be equal to what is the typist working for per hour in overtime? How much per hour? What's the overtime hourly rate? Look at right there. How much? 33.75. So calculate this for me, please. Tell me how much the typist is making for overtime wages. 226 flat? Oh, well, what is works out to be? 405 flat. Proper thing. The number of hours she must work during a given week to earn a total wage of $14.40, right? What was her basic weekly wage? Basic weekly wage. What is her basic weekly wage? How much? The first thing we work out. What is her basic weekly wage? 900 flat, I think it was. Yeah, 900. So that's 900. So that 900 accounts for 40 hours, right? Okay. So we're gonna do the overtime hours would be equal to 1440, which is the total wage minus 900. How much is overtime? Not hours, overtime wage. How much would the overtime wage be? How much again? Boom. 540, right? Now that 540 is the overtime wage. They access to the overtime hours. How much is the typist working for per hour in overtime? You all have that. So the overtime hours would be equal to 540 divided by how much is the typist working for per hour in overtime. Yeah, was it 30 something? 33.75. Right? So how much would the typist overtime hours be? 16 flat? Boom. Everybody good there? The basic wage earned by a truck driver for a 40-hour week is $560. How would I calculate how much he's working for per hour? Basic, so this is basic hourly rate. What is to be equal to? How would I find out how much he's working for per hour? 560 multiplied? Divided. Okay, trying to find back the hourly rate. So how much is the truck driver working for per hour? Yeah. 14 flat? $14, right? For overtime, the truck driver is paid 1.5 times the basic hourly rate. Calculate his overtime wage for 10 hours of overtime. So hear him out. We must find the overtime hourly rate first, right? So remember, it's time and a half. So I'm going to find the overtime hourly rate would be equal to 1.5 times 14, which will give me 21, right? That will be how much he is looking for per hour in overtime. How much hours a big man make in overtime? So this is my overtime wage. So that will be equal to how much hours did big man make in overtime? 10 multiplied by what's the overtime hourly rate? 21. So this overtime wage would be $210. Everybody good there? We work in. Calculate the total wages earned by the truck driver for a 55-hour week. So for 40 hours was what? 560? Correct? That was the first thing, 560 for 40 hours, right? Most of them people working for 40 hours, right? Right. So how much hours overtime that would mean? If the basic hours is 40, how much would be the overtime hours? If he worked for a total of 55 hours. 55 minus how much was our basic week? How much hours did he work for a basic week? 40. So this will be equal to 15 hours. Right? So what is my overtime? Because I want the total wage. So your overtime wage would be equal to 15 multiplied by 21. And what does it give me? What's the overtime wage? 15 multiplied by 21. Anybody? 350, right? 315. Right? So therefore, the total wage, what are we adding for the total wage? What is the total wage? How much did the truck driver work for in basic wage? Was 560. And how much he making overtime? What's his overtime wage there? 315. Excellent. So how much is this total wage here? Total wage. 876. Proper thing. All right? I'll even warn for it to do. Right? So this is the last question here. I'm going to put up on the screen so people who watch the YouTube video could pause it, try it, right? A, B, C, D. And this is the first question I'll correct next day, okay? So we close it up there. Hey, teacher, please. All right, there you go. Paul bought and sold a computer. He wrote his business activity as follows. What is the cost of the computer, my children? What is the cost of the computer? $1,064. Now, the marked up price of the computer is what he put it to sell for, right? What is the marked up price of the computer?
1,000.
Right. So, we don't know what profit he's making yet, because he's also given a discount, right? The discount is 5%. Okay? Calculate the selling price if paid in cash. So, we know the marked up price. Everybody agrees? We must find the discount on the marked up price. How much is the discount on the marked up price? So discount would be equal to 5 over 100, which is 5% of $13.99. What does this work out to be? Anybody? 5% of 30.99. Give it to two decimal places. $69 and
90 cents.
19? You sure?
Yeah, but say that, yeah.
Now that nothing. What's that about 2 after? Is 69.19. Right. So that's the discount. So your selling price, let me teach that. My selling price would be equal to my marked price minus the discount. Everybody good there? What's the marked price again? $13.99, right? That was the marked price. So it'll be $13.99 minus $69.19. What does this work out to be? Press the A and B over C now, and you'll get it as a decimal. Give me the decimal. 69.95. What's after the 5? Nothing? 69.95 flat, right? So you have to fix this up here, discount. That's 69 and 19 over 20, which is 69.95. I'm going to minus this way again. 1,329.05. Excellent. That there will be my selling price. Let's see what they're asking for us next. Or watch. I want to profit or loss as a percentage of cost price. So the first thing I must do is I must find the profit. It's a profit. Because my selling price is greater than my cost price. So your profit will be equal to your selling price minus your cost price. How much did I eventually sell it for? How much did I eventually sell it for? $1,329 and minus what was the cost price? What is the cost price here? 1,064. So minus this and tell me what my profit is, please. Everybody good there? 265. Now, Mrs. Jack bought 150 t-shirts for 1,920 from a factory. Calculate the cost of one shirt. So I want you all to try this one for me, right? Mrs. Jack bought 150 t-shirts for 1,920 from a factory. Calculate the cost of one t-shirt. What do I do here to find the cost of one t-shirt? Right, so one t-shirt. Either sir. It will be 1920 divided by. And what you all get? So everybody got that, right? That's $12.08 or 80. Everybody good there? Right. Right up. Now, they said the t-shirts are sold at $19.99 each. The amount of money Mrs. Jack receives after selling the t-shirts. What would she receive after selling the t-shirts? How many t-shirts it was? Right, so your selling price would be equal to 150 multiplied by 19.99 each, which will give me what? 150 multiplied by 19.99 each will give me what? Huh? 2,990. 990?
8.5.
That's 50, right? So we have the selling price and we have the cost price. Cost price is above here, right? 1920. So how would I find the profit made? What would be the working for my profit made? Profit made. If you pay 1920 for some t-shirts and then you sell them for 2,990, how would I find how much I make? The $2,998.50 and do what? Take it away from 1920. So are we getting there? Take it away, please. 1,000 and right? That is my profit made. They want the profit made. You listen up. They want the profit made as a percentage of the cost price. Giving your answer correct to the nearest whole number. Right? So they want the percentage profit. So your percentage profit would be the profit, which is 1,078.50 over the cost price, which was what? 1920 multiplied by 100. What would I get here? Right, give me the answer there. This will be equal to how much percent? They wanted the nearest whole number. So what is the number after the decimal point? 56 point what? 56.7 or 56.17? Could you press A and B over C and get it as a decimal, please? That's 50. Right, 56.17. So to be approximately 56%. Because look, they wanted to the nearest whole number. So they don't want any decimals, right? So this is your answer here. Right. So a percentage, write this please. Try to write same speed with me, please. A percentage increase shows how much a quantity grows compared to its original value expressed as a percentage. So most of the time to find a percentage increase, right? Percentage increase is equal to whatever the increase is over the original amount. Over the original amount multiplied by 100 over 1. That's my percentage increase, right? So decrease is the same thing, right? Percentage So the percentage decrease shows how much a quantity falls compared to its quantity falls. Value. Expressed as a percentage. So obviously a percentage decrease by 100 over 1. That's a percentage increase and decrease. So due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of available seats in a hall reduced from 125 to 93. Calculate the percentage in the number of available seats. So you're trying to figure out what is the percentage decrease in the number of available seats, right? First of all, how much did the chairs or the seats decrease by? So I put this as decrease in seats. How would I calculate how much these seats went down by? Yes, 125 take away 93, which will give me what? 125 take away 93 quickly. 32. Right? Now, if I want the percentage decrease, it will be equal to the decrease over which amount? I just give you all a formula for it. The decrease over what? Check the formula. The decrease over the. Look at right in all the box. Over which amount? Huh? 125. And you all seen the original amount there? Right, this is the original amount multiplied by 100 over 1. Give me the answer there. What's my answer? Answer, please. So you get 28% decrease. From. So this will be 25 when you press A and B over C, you get 25.6. So this will be 25.6%, yeah. 25.6%. They said when Megan started working, she was paid $85 each week. After a 6-month probationary period, her pay was increased by 20%. How much was she paid after, well, each week after the increase, right? So you can do either two things. You can find the increase first, right? How much percent did her salary go up by? So it will be 20 over 100 multiply by what is the salary right now? 85, right? So what's the increase? How much is the salary going up by? Look at this to me. 17, right? 17, right? This is $17. So that's how much it went up by. So we now need to find what a salary would be. So what I need to do now, if I had a calculator, salary 85 plus, excellent, 85 plus 17 because it went up. How much I get in there? 85 plus 17 is how much? 5 and 7 would give me 12, 8 and 1, 102. This will be a salary after, I should have put after increase. What? Nah. Right, so commission. So start right, same speed with me, right? Commission is a fee or payment made to a person for selling goods or provide is a fee or providing a service. Right. On behalf of someone else. It usually it is usually calculated as a percentage of the total sales, right? So you have a little formula here. Commission is equal to rate of commission. Rajiv, rate of commission over 100 multiply by your sales. In a certain company, a salesman is paid a fixed salary of 3,140 per month plus an annual commission of 2% on the total cost of the values of cars sold for the year. So commission, you will learn about this when you go to work. Commission is basically the more you sell is the more you will get. You will get back, right? So you have a fixed salary. So the employer telling you, the employer telling you that you're working for a certain amount of money, but if you sell more, you will make more money, right? It's a percentage. That's what commission is. So if the person is working for 3,140 per month, what as the fixed salary? What will be the fixed salary? How many months in a year? They want the yearly fixed salary. So if you're working for 3,140 per month, what's the fixed Yeah, yearly
37,000.
salary. This is 3,140 multiplied by 12, which will be what? 37,680. Right? That's the fixed salary. So, or like my chance now. So, in other words, no matter what this person do, they get in this money. They cannot sell a thing for the month. They still get in this salary. Okay? Let's see what the next part asking for. Now the commission is how much percent? What is the commission? Look at it. 2% on the total values of cars sold for the year. What is the value of cars that the Mr. sold? 720,000. No. So this is the commission. No, wait. That is send us down. Right. So the commission will be equal to 72. Wait, no. Is the rate is 2 over 100 multiplied by 720,000. So give me the commission for the year.
14,400.
14,400 is how much extra this person making. So it comes in as a end of year bonus kind of thing. That's what commission is like. It's like an end of year bonus. Right? Everybody good here? So they want, I'll leave the commission up. They want the total income for the year. So if your commission is what? What is your commission? How much was my commission? And how much was my fixed salary? Total amount for year would be equal to 37,680 plus 14,400. And how much is this person working for per year, including their commission? $52,000 and 080. Right? So I'm scrolling up for you all to write. Right. All right now. Right. So the commission, this is the number 19. Right. So commission that she will be paid. Commission is equal to 3 over 100 multiplied by 175. No, is a commission is 3% of the value of goods sold. That was a basic wage. So 3% of what? How much is the value of goods she sold for the week? 3,459. Away again there. What's the commission? 3 over 100 multiplied by 3,459. $103.75. Second now. You see that A and B over seen up there? What's the number after that 7?
7.
So if it's 77, it will be 78. What after the 7? 7, 7, 7. All right. Nothing after the second 7. All right. 3 over 100 multiplied by 3,459. You see that A and B over C now? Right. Press 3, press the A and B over C now, press 100, then press multiply by 3,459. So her gross Press the A and B over C now. Let me see. Yeah. So gross wage would be equal to her basic wage, which was what way? 175 plus 103.77. Wait again. Gross weekly wage. But what kind of shipments is that way? Oh, this is long, if that makes sense. $278 and that's all it'll go. What was the population of country A in 1965? 2,714,000, right? In 2015, it grew to 3,663,900. Write the population correct to three significant figures, right? Well, in 2015, right? So which number in that figure is the first significant figure? The 3, all right? So watch it. Let me write it here. You're doing for 2015, so it'll be 3. All right. So it'll be 3,663,900. Which number is the first significant figure again? Boom. That we talk about. Teach all of that. Let's go. Right. So my third significant figure will be here. So I'm going to have what I call the lock-off, right? Now, if the lock-off is here, if the number after the lock-off is 5 or greater, you add 1 to the third significant figure, right? This is the third significant figure. Is this number 5 or greater? No. So this 3 significant figures will be equal to 366. Everything after the lock-off changes to a 0. Everybody good there?
Yes, sir.
Right. That's all the answer there. Yeah, we're going there now. Write the population in 1965 in standard form. Let me write the population in 1965 would be 2,714,000. Right? Now, where is my decimal point understood to be? It's understood to be in the back here. Right? So I need to get it behind, well, to the right of the first significant figure. What is my first significant figure? This is my first significant figure. Right? So watch the movement. Watch the movement here now, right? We go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we move. Everybody agrees? So this will become 2.714. All those other zeros could jump, right? Multiply by 10 to the power of how many times I move my point? 6. If you're going to the left, the power of 6 is positive. If you're going to the right, the power of 6 is negative. Going to the left is positive, right? Determine the percentage increase of a population, of the population from 1965 to 2015. So we're dealing with, let's find the increase first. Everybody agrees? Increase will be equal to, was it 3,663,000? What, 800? No, 900. Minus 2,714,000. What this works out to be?
The 9,499.
Right? So this would be our increase in our population, right? Now we need to find the percentage increase, right? So we're going underneath here, percentage increase. Percentage increase would be equal to the 949,900 over the initial amount of the population. What was the initial amount? How much it was at the beginning in 1965? 2,714,000 multiplied by 100 over 1. Because it's a percentage I'm trying to find, right, Egg? So let me go. These zeros cancel here, right? And this 1 0 can cancel here. So do this 9499 over 2714 multiplied by 10 and tell me again there. 99 divided by 2744. Right? No, 14, sorry. 2714. Where again? Right. Multiply by 10 now. Multiplied by 10. 34.61. 1 after the 1. 7. So that means that 1 changes to a 2. Boom. So this will be 2%. Everybody got it? Proper thing. Right? Right. So a stadium currently has seating for 15,600 seats. Calculate the number of people in the stadium when 75% of the seats are occupied. How easy is this? What do I simply need to find? I want to find out how many people are in the stadium if 75% of the seats are occupied. What do I need to do? 75. All right, so this will be people in stadium, right? People in stadium. That will be equal to 75 over what? If it's 75%, it's 75 over multiplied by. Right. Tell me how much people in the People's Stadium, please. Tell me how much people in the People's Stadium. Straight 11,500 and look how dog food this is. This is dog food and some of that's choose. I tell it all now. I am fighting laziness and I am fighting influence in the school. That's why I'm fighting it. That's my two greatest enemies right now. Laziness and all right, let go. Let's read it together, right? The stadium is to be renovated with a new seating capacity of 20,790. So what does that mean? Did the seating capacity increase or decrease? Right. So after the renovation, what will be the percentage increase in the number of seats, right? So we know straight up it's an increase, but we need to figure out what this increase is. So let's figure out the increase. Let's put the work in. 20,790 minus what? 11. No, not 11 at all. No. That was the people in the stadium and 75% of the seats were occupied. That 11,550 has nothing to do with this part. Thank you. 15,400. So what's my increase here? 5,300 and that's just the increase, right? 5,000 how much? 390, right? Now, they need the percentage increase. How easy is this? Your percentage increase would be equal to 5,390 divided by the initial amount. It's always divided by the initial amount or the amount at the beginning. How much was the initial amount of seating capacity? What was the starting amount? 15,000. And if it's a percentage you're trying to find, what do I multiply by? 100 over 1. Dog food. Punch it on the calculator. Give me the percentage increase here for these seats, please. 35 flat, my brothers and sisters. 35% flat, right? Son, what's the height here? Neon lights flash 5 times every 10 seconds. 5 times every 10 seconds. Show that the light flashes 43,200 times in one day. So now we need to find out how many seconds it happens in one day. We have to find out how many seconds.
So 6 at the back.
in 1 day. That's what I need to do because it's a 1 day, right? So let me go. Let me start with the basics. How much seconds in a minute? How many minutes in an hour? How many hours in a day? Multiply this and tell me how much seconds. That's how easy you get how much seconds in a day. Yeah? You start from the seconds and you build it up. 86,000. 86,400 seconds, right? Right. Let me work. So it's 5 flashes every 10 seconds. So you need to find out how many 10-second, how many 10-second intervals in 1 day, right? How many 10-second intervals in 1 day? Everybody good there, my brothers and sisters? Let's go. 86,400 divided by 10 because it's how many 10-second intervals, right? How much I'll get here? 8,640 10-second intervals, right? How much flashes am I getting every 10 seconds? Intervals. How many flashes am I getting every 10 seconds, my children? 5. The bro seen it here. Right? 5. So, flashes in 1 day would be equal to 5 multiplied by 8,640, and this will give me how many flashes? You're supposed to get this bad boy here. Where you getting there? 43,200. Boom, bang, bang. Flashes. You put a little box to indicate it was show. Proper thing. Right. The table below shows the results obtained by a student in her CXC examination. The maximum mark for each paper is given in the third column of the table. So this is a max mark, right? So for paper 1 is out of 30, paper 2 is out of 50, paper 3 is out of 20. So this is the percentage each person gets. So this person gets 55% in paper 1. So it will be 55 over 100 multiplied by 30 will tell me how much a student got in paper 1. You all seen that? Right? Paper 2, 60 over 100 multiplied by 50 will tell me how much he got in paper 2. In paper 3, he got 80 over 100 multiplied by 20, right? Determine as a percentage the student's final mark for the mathematics examination. So, right, we have to find each one and then add them up. You're correct. Very good. So, like, we do it for paper 1. So, we go to my paper. This is how your working should look. This is how a serious student would line up their work, right? Watch it. Paper 1. Right, that E ain't come on good. That's now. Paper 1. Right? So paper 1 would be 55 over 100 multiplied by 30 over 1. How much did the student obtain in paper 1? But we only have 10 more minutes. 6, how much? 16.5. Right, so paper 1 will be equal to 16.5%. Everybody good there? Paper 2. Paper 2 was 16. 60 over 100 multiplied by how much was the max mark? 50. Ooh, this question nice. 30, right. But I will put like this. Right, how much? 30? 30%. No, this is not percent, these are marks. These are not percents, these are the marks. Right? And paper 3 would be paper 3 would be, remember what was? 80 over 100 multiplied by 20 over 1, which is how much? 16? 16, right? So they want the as a percentage the students' final mark. So this will be the final mark, it will just be the total over 100. So final mark, woo, final mark as a percent, right? As a percent. This will be equal to 16 plus 30 plus what was the first mark? 16.5. Right? When you add up this, you'll get the total mark over. It was total will be out of 100 and is multiplied by 100, right? Over 1 because it's a percent. So all we're going on here is like the two marks just the two hundreds just cancelling out. So whatever you get when you add up, the numerator will be your percent. What you get? 16 plus 30 plus 16.5. Yeah, but you add up down now. Wait, 62.5.
Yes.
Right. This is the percent. Everybody good there?
That's all.
Now hear this. We only have a few minutes. I wanna done all this today. I really want to finish this. A two-story car park has a total of 1,020 parking spaces. At 630 hours one morning, 1/30 of the 1,020 spaces are filled. During the next hour, no cars left, and the car park, no cars left the car park, but another 4/5 of the 1,020 spaces are filled. Determine the number of parking spaces that are not filled at 7:30. Right? So let me deal with the 1/30 that was filled first, right? So first it will be 1/30 multiplied by 1,020. How much car park spaces this will be? 34 spaces, right? Then this after, let's put after we had 4/5, no cars left. They say 4/15, sorry, of the same 1,020, right? How much this will be? 4/15 of the same 1,020. 4/15 multiplied by spaces, right? How would I calculate how many spaces were not filled? The time kind of irrelevant to this question, eh? Already realize that?
Yeah.
The time irrelevant. So let me go. Spaces not filled. And minus it from 1,020. Excellent. You see, I tell you, there's no what to do, but you don't like to do your work, boy. You won't get no marks, you know. Right. That's out there for me. 304 is the final answer. When you add this, you get 306. So 1,020 minus 306. 1,020 minus 306. 1,020 minus 306. So 714 spaces. Right? Let me go. We finishing this, eh? Mr. Gamal, 5 minutes. Of the 1,020 parking spaces, 20% are on the top level. How many parking spaces are on the top level? Dog food.
What?
Right? Parking spaces on the top level would be equal to 20 over 100 because it's 20% of the 1,020. What are we getting there? Let me see what could cancel out here. This could cancel with this. This could cancel with this. So 2 multiplied by 102 would be 204 spaces. Proper thing. Some of the spaces are reserved for monthly paying customers. The ratio of reserved spaces to non-reserved spaces is 5 to 7. Calculate the amount of non-reserved parking spaces there are. So the some of these spaces are reserved. So it's 5 to 7, right?
Yes.
So remember I told you a ratio, we solve ratios using parts, right? So how much parts we have in total? The total parts in this ratio would be 5 plus 7. That's the total parts. How much parts that will be?
That will be
12 parts. Right? Now, this 12 parts represent my 1,000. 12 parts would be 1,020. Right? The 12 parts represent the 1,020 parking spaces. So the mission when you're solving a ratio is to find out how much one part is. So if 12 parts is 1,020, my children, how do I find out what one part is? Excellent. 1,020 divided by 12. Where again? 1,085. Right? So one part is not one packet, one part is 85. Now they asked us to find out for non-reserve parking. So the ratio of reserve to non-reserve, which will be in the order, will be 5 to 7. So what's something? 5 represents reserve and 7 represents non-reserve. So I basically need to find for 7 parts. So if one part is 85, what will 7 parts be? Proper thing. 500 and proper thing by non-reserve. Everybody good there? My brothers and sisters? I wanted the last part there. The cost of parking at the car park is shown in table you. So under 30 minutes free, 30 minutes to 2 hours, this 2 to 4 hours will be this, 4 to 8 hours, this 8 to 24 hours is, and like for a whole week you could just pay $40, right? So Mahalia leaves the car park at 1800 hours and pays $9.25, determine the earliest time she would have arrived. So 1830 minus how much hours? Well, what is the most amount of hours 925 could be? What's the most amount of hours 925 could be? 8, proper thing. So you have to minus 8, but I'll put 800, right? So this will be 03, 1030 hours. Because remember, we in 24-hour clock, right? Everybody good there? Right. She bought a 40-hour weekly ticket that week. Danraj. He visited the car park 5 different times. The length of time he parked is, well, on each occasion it should be low. Show that Danraj saved $850 by buying that weekly ticket. So let you do 25. And 25 will be free. This will be free. 8 hours. Let me send this down. Right. So I know this is free. Let me see who memory real good here. This is free. 7.5 hours as well. It's 9:35 or 9:25. Okay, sure. Right. 11 hours will be what? How's the next one? That'll be more than 8 hours, but less than 24. So let me go up. $15. So this is 15. This is real nice. 8.25 will be and 3/4 will be what? I think it's same 15 because this is more than 8. Same 15. And 8 hours exact will be what? 9.25 because it's up to 8 hours, right? So let me see how much he would have paid, right? So this will be cost without weekly ticket. So the cost of our weekly ticket started $9.25 plus 15 plus 15 plus $9.25. How much does it cost without the weekly ticket? 30 plus what? 30 plus 18 is 48, 48, 50. Right? So therefore, saved would be 48.50 minus 40, which will give me $8.50, right? Proper thing, my children. So this will be saved. Yeah, Abby. Right? Hey, hold on, Right, so that's it there, right, guys? Sending this. I want to try and send all the videos as one YouTube video, right? And then I'm going to send you a worksheet now. So you can start to revise. Cool? Right? So that's it there. Somebody will give me unplug.